Hey everyone, we are super excited to be spreading awareness and destigmatizing mental health in the Black and Brown communities.
This podcast is a safe place for us to discuss our adversities and even our shortcomings. We all have a story.
Just remember, no matter what we go through, our story goes on. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Our Story Goes On. And today we got some good things where we're going to be talking about motivation and more specifically consistency and discipline and how we could try to kind of like change that wording of motivation almost, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So before we get into all of that, we're going to do a little bit of a check-in.
Yes.
So how are you today, Joe?
I'm well. I will be graduating
Yes.
this week. I'm excited.
So excited. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. And I'm so exhausted. And then I have to like go places to like prep for graduation. But I'm really excited about everything to come. And I'm like excited about like what life has for me next.
Yes.
I'm like, Lord, please be easy on me because listen, I've been hearing some horror stories. I'm like, I don't even know if I want to be adult. Can I be like a super teen or something? Like
A super teen.
Yeah, a super teen. Like, I don't want to do it. But I'm excited and I'm very like I have faith that everything will work out and like
Absolutely.
be well. So you know.
So excited. I'm so proud of Joe.
Thank
like
you.
when we took her grad pictures at her school last Sunday. Yeah.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh, I was going to cry.
I know. Our pictures came out so cute.
Yeah,
too.
I know. They all ended up being really good.
Yes.
It was like such good vibes too. Like your whole family was there and
Yeah.
friends. It was a really good time. So
Yes.
that's
Thank you
good.
for coming.
Yeah. And so graduation is on Friday.
Yes, Friday at 10 a.m. I will be.
Now, are you walking?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's good. I mean, I just know everything with COVID and colleges and high schools. I just can never keep up if they have regular graduations anymore.
No, seriously. One thing that is annoying though is that I only get 2 tickets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was because you went to a pretty big school, though.
Yeah. I would say, honestly, I would say that it's like, I don't know. I think it's like, it's a commuter college. So I don't know. Like, I feel like it's like a mix, but
You'll be surprised, though.
Yeah.
Commuter or not, like it could still be pretty big.
No, seriously, because there's a lot of people graduating. I didn't think that there was
Yeah.
like that many people there. Like,
Wow. So only 2 tickets.
yeah.
I remember when I graduated, I got 5.
Yeah.
Even in my grad program, I think I got like 5, which I was pretty shocked about too. But
COVID has ruined everything.
Oh,
COVID
so that's
has
probably
ruined
why you
everything.
think.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Sid, how are you?
I am good today. This week has been a little strange for me. It's been a little like I had a good week in terms of maintaining everything I needed to do, like routine and everything, but I've just felt like so exhausted this whole week. I don't know what's in the air.
Okay.
But it's just been like more of a tiring week. I've just been more tired than usual, but other than that, I would say I'm doing pretty well.
Okay.
Not too bad.
If anything helped you this week while you felt a little bit more exhausted or a little more tired, like what was it, if there was anything?
I don't know. It's like I don't know. I think it's probably I think it's honestly because I have to get up earlier now on Thursdays and I should have been getting up this time all the time. But I've just been kind of more lazy and kind of getting away with getting to my office later than usual, but now I have a 9 a.m. client every Thursday. So now I have no choice
Right.
but to have to get up at like 6:30 every Thursday because I know that sounds like so much earlier, but I like to get up, make sure I eat, do my morning routine, and then get to the office. So that's why I have to wake up like, 2.5 hours earlier or something. But that's really, I think, what's kind of throwing me off a little bit. So I think once my body adjusts to that, I'll probably be a lot better.
Okay.
But it might take a little while, especially since I have off like at the end of December. It's gonna have to like redo everything.
Right. Like I'm gonna have to catch up on sleep.
Right.
Catch up on my shows. Catch up
Exactly.
on everything that makes me myself. Because, I don't know.
Yeah. But other than that, it's been a pretty good week. Can't complain.
That's good. I'm excited for you. I was like, well, when we were texting this week and you were telling me that you were exhausted, I was like, oh my gosh. So, like, I would ask her if she wants to go out for a drink, but, you know, it's probably not ideal.
I can never, like, you know, necessarily turn down going out for a drink, but I think it's like the holidays too, you know, like it's just kind of like that stress of trying to find gifts for everyone, and finances tend to dip around this time of the year.
Okay, listen.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, since we did a little bit of a check-in, you want to get into our subject or our topic for today?
Yes, y'all. I'm really excited to talk about this because this is something that I kind of struggle with a lot. I feel like I lack motivation sometimes, but it's also a symptom of bipolar depression. So it's definitely something that I okay, it's like,
you're like, just like that's just what it is.
It's definitely something that I have to like work at every single day. Like I listen to motivational speeches. I listen to like I watch motivational videos. Like Cena has been telling me to motivate. Not motivate. Did I just say that? I meant meditate.
Meditate.
Cinnam's been telling me to meditate since last season. And then my new therapist also has mentioned meditation to me. So I've tried like what is it called? Like
implementing it, or
not just implementing it, but it's a certain a guided meditation. Guided meditation. So
that's the only thing I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, girl.
Oh, girl, I thought you was meditating like...
No. I don't sit on like a yoga mat and like cross my legs and just listen. No. No. I mean, everyone is different, but I believe that guided meditation is kind of better than just sitting there. But I guess it depends, right? Like everyone is different. Everyone, maybe you're more in tune to doing that, or maybe you're more seasoned and just better at that, then sure. But I think the guided meditations are great because you can also be specific on what you're feeling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can have a guided meditation on helping you sleep, or a guided meditation of reducing anxiety. So when you're just kind of sitting there and just like breathing, I don't know, maybe that's just me. I will like be super distracted. I'm like, oh, I hear a car outside. What do I have to make for myself to eat today? So that's why I think guided meditation it just keeps you more focused, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
for sure. I've been doing a lot of like positive energy ones. But anyway.
Yes.
We often talk about motivation, but like motivation sometimes does not cut it. I feel like things that should be more spoken about or more like pushed are like discipline and consistency, because when you continue to do things, like you kind of get used to it, and then you build a habit, and then it's something that becomes easier for you over time. But I feel like you have to start off little by little to get those things accomplished, to even like feel the aspect of motivation or the feeling of it. I like to compare motivation to a feeling, because it's like, it like flutters. It never stays. Like some days I'll wake up and I'm like, woo, I'm going to go read my textbooks. I'm going to go read my, my articles. I'm going to go write my papers. I'm going to go like complete my tests. Like I wake up and I'm very like, yes, I got it. But then there's days when I wake up, and these are most days, I'm just like, I'm not feeling it today. I'm going back to sleep. Okay. But of course, I can't go back to sleep. I have to get up and push through the day. But at the same time, that's where consistency and discipline come in. There's a point where I thought that I was never going to finish school. Like it felt like, damn, like
when is it going to happen?
Yeah, like I've been taking my classes, 4, 5, 6 classes. Like what's going on?
Right.
But like we want everything so fast nowadays that like we forget that it's a journey. It's the journey that matters. It's the struggle that matters. Like I wouldn't appreciate my degree as much if I didn't go through the struggles and go through the journey and like take it day by day and like take class by class, like
at your own pace,
right?
That's
like
all that matters.
Yeah. But I don't know, like I feel like when you kind of see that you're not graduating like with your class, or like when life happens and you have to like take a break from things, or like I don't know, like whatever setbacks you may encounter or feel, like it kind of like hinders you a little bit. It kind of like pushes your motivation back. So you have to find ways and like just I'm just going to show up today. That's it. That's all that matters. As long as I show up, that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think especially this week, speaking of like when I was saying that I felt really tired at work this week, at least one client a day for this week would tell me how tired they are and how unmotivated they were feeling. And they always use that word motivation, obviously. And it's always like, hey, like I'm not really feeling up to doing anything this week, or I've just been having really difficulty getting up for work, or one of them had even mentioned like having difficulty cooking for their family, and it was more like the quote unquote easy way out. Let's just get takeout. You know, it was like almost every day this week or whatever. So that's just what I've noticed this week. And that's why I'm like, I don't know if there's something in the air this week, but it's just a very common, like what's the word I'm looking for? I guess feeling, as like Joe mentioned, like motivation or feeling motivated, right, is kind of like a feeling, because as same thing as happiness, sadness, anger, those all come and go. No one is ever consistently happy or consistently sad or consistently angry. Well, hopefully not.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's kind of how motivation is too. And literally, actually, one of the symptoms of depression in like the diagnostic criteria is lack of motivation. So it's almost like, okay, what does that mean exactly? Like lack of motivation, meaning that you're not really able to do your day-to-day work. You had a goal and now you're not really able to accomplish it, or you're getting longer to kind of get there and stuff. So, but my point is, I guess, is that kind of like when we hear the word motivation, what does that exactly mean? What does that look like in everyone? So what do you think, Joe?
I think, wait, what was the question again?
I was just kind of like, what exactly is motivation? So when we hear that, what comes to mind for you? So besides it being like a feeling, I mean.
Right. So we already heard me say that I think motivation can be compared to a feeling. I also think that it's kind of like an intense urge. Like it could be compared to an intense urge to just do. Like I've been like, I don't like my life right now. Like I'm gonna change it.
Right.
Or I don't like my circumstances right now. I'm gonna change it. I don't like how I feel right now. I'm gonna change it. I feel like it's a sudden like spurt of like energy, like sort of like adrenaline almost, like where you just feel like I can do it. Like I can do this. And we don't always get that. But
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that, you're right, it's an urge and that goes away. And that's why we're trying to push talking about more consistency and discipline for today, because not saying that you can't be motivated or that motivation is not the word to use anymore or nothing like that. Certainly not what we're trying to get across. But I think that's kind of the problem nowadays, that you hear that you're not motivated and it then equals that you no longer want to do anything. And a lot of times we also just push ourselves to like the edge, I guess. And we're humans, right? So we're human beings, not human doings. So we just have to be sometimes. Yeah. So I think that what we're trying to say is that consistency and discipline will just push you a lot further in whatever goal it is that you want to accomplish.
Right.
So.
And I also think we have to like remember that we're multifaceted human beings. Like there's so many different hats that we wear, so many things that we can be, so many people that we can be and impact. So like when we aren't feeling our best, or like when we don't feel like doing something, I don't think that you should like take it hard on yourself, or like, oh, I'm not accomplishing things that I need to be at the rate or the time or like the way that I need to. It's just that you may need to unplug from the top plug and then switch the plug to the bottom plug, or like do something that like, I don't know, like sometimes even taking like time away from your responsibilities or things that you're worried about, like just, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do anything today. I'm going to put some things down. I'm just going to go grab a coffee, or I'm going to go and have dinner by myself, or I'm just going to go and take a hot, long shower and just think about my life, like something like a drive. I just feel like with motivation, like you have to do things to like feed that,
right?
To kind of like fester it and like help it to grow. Because if you don't do the things like on the off days, like the days where you are like, okay, I can do this, I can go out and do it, you do it, but then like you have unfinished projects or like things that you were so amped about and like now you're just not excited about at all. Like, and that's another thing too. We have to remember that not everything we do is going to be exciting all the time.
Yeah,
like,
that's so true.
That's not going to be the case. Like there's aspects about, like, for instance, for social media, I like going on social media and scrolling, but I don't like posting. Well, I don't like posting because I'm really not that good at it. I don't know. I really don't know what hashtags to put. I'll put whatever hashtag comes to mind.
Oh my
honestly.
God. I always will look at other people's pages and what I should hashtag because I'm like, I don't know what's a hashtag.
No, seriously. So I have an Instagram, and like even now we have a platform where we have to go on our Instagram and have to make posts and stuff, but it gets hard for me because it's like I don't want to post things. I don't want to be a social media like content creator. Like I don't like I just want to talk and just express how I feel, and people like it or not, you know? But at the same time, it helps me to have someone else to do it with. Like, I'm so grateful for Sin because I feel like we talked about doing the podcast, I think, for a good year.
I know we did. We really like a year before we started.
Yes. Yeah. Started. And Sin, one day she was just like, yeah, we're going to do the podcast. I don't care what you're talking about. Like, we're just going to go see what Nikki wants, what he can do and like see. And that's how we got started. But like from like just that experience alone, like I've seen how much we've grown from just like our first season and like how we're comfortable in the camera now, and like,
I know.
we can talk a little bit freer because in the first season we were like,
I know, we were like, so this that, which is totally fine, right? That's what growth is about. It's just kind of like it's never linear. You're always going to be on and off and everything. But just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying too, Joe, in terms of, I don't know if you mentioned it specifically with the word, but just kind of making ourselves feel guilty or feeling bad if we don't necessarily do that. So it's like literally called like productivity guilt when a person not makes themselves feel guilty, but more just feels guilty that they haven't been able to, I don't know, like read the book they were supposed to read for school by the end of the week, or instead of exercising 5 days a week, they now exercise 1 or 2 days a week. And that eventually then actually lowers a person's motivation because you're saying, well, I made this goal to not eat sugar for 5 days a week and I ate sugar every single day this week, so this is impossible. I'm just not going to do it. Or
me.
Right. Or anything of that kind of sort where it's like we made a goal for ourselves and we tend to make unrealistic goals for ourselves because we feel as humans that if you don't start off going big or doing the most, then then you gotta go home.
You gotta go home.
So it's kind of, but that's just not fair. I mean, what is the big deal of just kind of starting off small, right? So some kind of tips to combat that guilt in a way. The first thing I would recommend is self-talk. So basically what it sounds like, just talking yourself through that guilt that you might be feeling, right? Reminding yourself of your progress, giving yourself some breaks. And in that sense too, is like scheduling that out for yourself too. So self-talk could, like I said, just talking to yourself in the mirror or writing something out, just giving yourself that boost for yourself is really beneficial. And then giving yourself those breaks that you need to have, because if you don't give yourself that break, then you are going to kind of like shut down a little bit too. So
I do it all the time.
Yeah,
I really do. Like I'm like, I have to write this paper. I have to read this article. But you know what? My bed feels so good. Or like I'd rather go chill with my boyfriend, or I'd rather go out with Sin or something. And I'm like, dang, I didn't do my paper, and it's due tomorrow. But I don't know about y'all. I get it done. Okay? I get it done.
When I was in college, I worked best under pressure. I don't like that was just. I mean, and my two girlfriends, I don't even know if they will be listening, but they always make fun of me because I was always the student that did everything ahead of time. But I'm like, I did everything ahead of time, but I also like did it in a way that I needed to put like pressure on myself. If that kind of sounds like, you know what I mean? Like even though I wasn't doing it probably the night before, I still like had this kind of set, you know. But it didn't even matter, man. It's not like my job ever asked me, what's your GPA? Or how many papers did you get A's on? Like,
okay.
But yeah, so then on top of self-talk and giving yourself those needed breaks, also just breaking down your goals into smaller tasks or smaller chunks. And we talked a lot about that too in our procrastination episode last season. Just breaking things down in smaller chunks can be really beneficial for you to get to like the bigger chunks, right? Because let's say that you have a goal to exercise 5 days a week for, let's say, an hour and a half each day. So if you're just starting to work out, it's probably not realistic, right? Like 5 days a week and hour and a half. So really just breaking it down where it's like, okay, I'm actually going to work out for maybe 3 days a week for an hour. And then you'll eventually get up there. And research actually does show too that if you do break down or even if you just give yourself like 5 minutes of each task that you want to accomplish, you're more likely to finish the task completely. So let's say the task is an hour and you're like, okay, I'm not really feeling great today. But I'm just going to do it and I'll only do it for like 15 minutes. And then you're already in it. So you're most likely going to keep going because you're like, hey, I'm already here, right? So if you're giving yourself that self-talk and you're allowing yourself to listen to what your body needs, hey, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes out of this task today, and you'll realize you're probably going to do the rest.
Right.
So productivity guilt is definitely a thing when it comes to motivation. But there are ways to combat it. There are ways to beat it.
Okay. But now, like, let's talk about how you can stay consistent.
Yes, definitely.
I follow this life coach on Instagram, and her name is Bryn Drescher, and she's amazing.
Dresser?
Drescher.
Oh, Drescher.
Yeah, Drescher. It's BRYNDRESCHER.
Okay, got it.
Yes, if you guys want, you can follow her. She has lives every morning. But
every morning.
Yes.
Wow, that's dedication.
Okay, every morning. Yes, and she does it whether there's 2 people on there, 3 people, and she makes sure she acknowledges every single person. Like she's very like adamant about what she does, and like her work is great. But one thing that she was talking about this week was how we're multifaceted, and that she said a quote that I'm never gonna forget, but it's focus creates blindness. So we're so focused on being great or being like amazing that we're blind to like things that we should be grateful for, things that we should like be like, just, I don't even know how to put it, but just like we accomplish so much, like as beings, like getting up in the morning, like going and getting in the shower, like accomplishing whatever, like whether you have to go to work, school, whatever, like those things take a lot out of us. And like, we kind of forget, like we kind of forget that, like, it's just,
it's kind of like, it's like, you're just, I get what you're saying. Cause like it comes back to the guilt of if you don't do so much all at once, then you're failing at your task or you're not good at what you're doing. So it's more just like when you talk about like the focus, like you're so focused on this one thing and you're not even realizing that there might be 5, 6, 7 other things that are trying to actually come into your life, and you're just like, no, I have to get to the end, or else, and not really paying attention to everything else. That's really great. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, and then you invite negative energy. Like you start thinking like negatively, like I'm not doing well. I'm not like where I need to be. Like it just turns into like
that is such a big thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like on top of not feeling motivated, we are now talking bad to ourselves. Yes. Like I'm guilty of it too. Absolutely. I feel like all the time, if I don't work out a certain amount of times throughout the week, I'm like, well, no wonder I don't see results. Like, but in reality, it's like, hey, no, I worked out 3 times this week. That's really great. And I feel like at this point in my life too, with my goals of exercise, at first, I remember when I've been exercising on and off since I was 19. Like it's always been a thing. I've always had bits of going to the gym, and then like forget about like COVID. I didn't go to the gym for the whole year. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've just been that way since I was 19. I've always gone to the gym, but I've always had like these spurts of like not going and then going, not going. But I feel like back then I had a goal of like wanting to have a specific like body, I guess. Like now I actually exercise more for my mind, and also for like my mom brought up a good point one. As much as she wants me to have a kid soon, she's always talking about like, she's like, think about like if you do exercise, you're strengthening your body for birth. I know that sounds like so weird, but I'm like, true. You know what? Like that's true. I'm like, it's like maybe once I start getting a better I guess, core in terms of exercise, strength, I'll be stronger for like my future babies. Okay. So I'm like, my goals have changed, and that will happen with people too. As you get older, you start to realize that maybe something that you wanted to do just 2-3 years ago is just not what you want to do now. And that's totally okay. Yeah. So our affirmation for today is strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't. So that is it for today. And we hope everyone has a great week. See you guys next time.